Game 5. It will be a Cyber Mirror with both players still choosing their traditional colors of pink and orange. We'll have to see what they want to do. Will we see any random drops to the middle of the map for no discernible reason, as the school of Turn and Zlo have taught us? I mean, neither of those players won, but doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. You don't buy that one, Farms?
Sorry, what?
Just because the drop to the middle lost both times it happened, it's bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Continue?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hear anything what you said before.
Don't worry about it. We're just making random conversation. I'm just wondering if, like, there is a way to make the drop to the middle, like the transport rush, work. Like,
Yeah, it's actually a very good strategy.
I mean, it could be. If you can just secure the middle and get all your production there and divide the map like 60-40.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, you have to sacrifice a lot to get there. Like a second land factory. Which can be a big ask.
I kinda also ignored whatever you said just now.
Yeah, get out of here, Farms. Get out of here.
Just saw Tagada saying that Yudi isn't good at 10 by 10 land maps, and these are his worst maps. I tend to agree on that, except that this map is a bit of an exception.
It's very late game macro oriented 10 by 10. A lot of chokes.
This one plays a lot different than the standard 10 by 10 map. And that's why I'd say,
I'm liking Yudi's build here. It's a bit faster, a bit speedier. He's going to scale better than Turbo is.
Quick second Lance Factory is indeed pretty common here.
Yeah, they're going to do what seems to be the common meta these days. Get that third air factory after 2 lands. Second land being used mostly for additional engineers to scale your production. Grab all the reclaim.
No raids coming out, just net no labs, so many of them.
And we have 2 Mantis.
Siren versus Siren, so did they both veto UEF?
Maybe you can go interrogate Knock. See what he has to say about such things. But the factory for Yudi finishes so much faster, but he just keeps it idle because he doesn't quite have the power to run it. So Turbo will actually get a bit of an air lead just by virtue of running his factory.
I mean, Yudi actually has 2k energy in his storage, so power shouldn't have been an issue if he has this much.
I mean, 2ke is like 1 inti.
Yeah, but he's not burning it. Right? So it means that he only... I don't know for how long his air factory was passed.
A good, like, 30 seconds almost.
But that means that it only shouldn't have been passed for like 10 seconds at most, which is nowhere near as bad.
I mean, Toro's just going to go ahead and power stall himself. There's a lot of scaling to be done, and he's
doing him the favor. I mean, at the start, you have with a lot of reclaim, so power is going to be the most valuable resource at the start.
Neither player are rushing the distant hydros. They'll get them eventually, but they're in no hurry.
Yeah, it's kind of the issue is those hydros, they're good of course, but you can't reliably rush them because the engineers can get bombed or raided by some land units or whatnot. And so you can't like plan your strategy on, oh, I don't need to build this much power because I will get those hydros. No, you don't know for sure how early you're gonna get those.
Sometimes you gotta take risks. You gotta go out there. I mean, Grimblex really focused the hydros a bit more, and I did like that from him. Alright, Mantis does find an NG.
It does. There is no protection for that one area of attack at all, which I think is a bit weird. There should have been at least a mole there to scout ahead.
So he'll get the one,
Although
and then
it's only
leave.
gonna be one engineer that's gonna die from Yudi. It's just not crucial, it's just a bit annoying.
Oh, this is actually kind of good, though. It's going to sneak by this other raid that is headed out from Yudi. And
Yes,
threaten
and then
the NG.
although our bomber is gonna kill that one anyway.
Well, the bomber's going to steal this Mantis's glory. Which is just mean. It's trying its best.
Bomber is probably gonna go Swkoll all around the back and try to kill those expanding engineers, although it wasn't actually locked on the engineer. He does have vision on it. Need to wait until the bomber gets an auto attack on one of those units, but
I don't know if Yudi scouted the bomber, but the NTs are nearby.
Go for the engineer. Okay, it will. But Yudi got an extra max for that, so.
Oh, the Mantis still can go kill the mexes. These are cyber mexes. They will die.
Oh, the Mantis, yeah, sure. Once again, it's like Yudi not guarding that bottom like choke point, which is I think quite bad. He, however, does have a raiding Mantis on the right. I was saying that yesterday as well. With I see everyone building a factory next to that one max, and nobody protecting the engineers. But in this time, there's a raid in it, a nice factory, so
they're learning.
That's pretty decent. It's like they're an algorithm.
I mean, this factory, it's going to be a hassle to get it back online, but it'll be doable. I mean, there's NGs on the way, and the Mantis will be able to clean up this single raid. Heroic NG killing Mantis has arrived, and we'll start getting to work on those mexes. And there's actually no real response that's nearby. Some tanks will be redirected, but...
Oh, there's going to be 5 Mantis and a Medusa that's going to deal with it.
Turbo leaving the base very late, and he's going north with it, which is a somewhat unusual path. We've seen basically everyone go south out of the base.
True, yes. I guess if you go north, there's the 2 max location that you can get, but south is probably a bit faster because you don't have to go around the cliff as much.
It feels more natural.
If you want to end up in the middle, that is. It does feel more natural, yeah. But yeah, Yudi will be faster in mid, so you will have to PD up in time, and if he gets a decently fast factory as well, then you should be able to secure it. There's also already 5 engineers from Yudi in mid. Behind this SU, I'm not sure why there's so many in that location.
They're all gonna sneak in and grab all the rocks before anyone knows. It's a heist.
No.
Yes. I mean, some of them are. Others are going to just grab the mexes and build a PD there. I mean, there's been great success with like players just setting up a PD here and it just never gets killed.
Yeah, the most important part, I think, is not that you necessarily... Like the mexes are kind of irrelevant. And I mean, securing the mass is pretty decent on its own, but you also get so much flexibility in map control, right? That's such an important choke point where you can move units through if you need to. So that's why it's worth to having a PD there on its own.
Turbo going to kill a lot of the reclaim NGs up on the top left. It's really going to slow down Yudi's scaling.
Yeah, I think honestly Yudi kind of overbuilds the reclaim engineers a bit. Because, like, next to his SU, right, he has like 10 engineers there to reclaim. There's only really like 3 or 4 big reclaim patches, and you don't need that many engineers to reclaim this quickly.
Engineers aren't free. It's a fact.
And not only that, but it's important. Those could have been Mantis that could be used to, you know, secure more map control instead. You don't need like 4 engineers on 1 crystal pile. Like 1 or 2 are enough. Generally.
Send 4 in case 2 die. But
yeah,
I think
Yudi
they're fine. Ooh, fast
not
gun.
building a factory with his SU. That's a gun from Turbo. Also, I'm surprised, like, he's not really focusing on grabbing the reclaim, like, in the middle. That's kind of contested. Which, like, he's building those 2 maxes, but I would say it would make more sense to try and grab the reclaim, because those maxes are not really long-term. You're gonna hold them most likely, but this gun is maybe gonna pose a bit of a threat to Yudi.
I mean, it will quickly be overshadowed by both players rushing T3 land.
Yeah,
pretty far along.
Both are at Yudi is like 10% behind, but they will be at roughly the same time. They are very even. They got basically the same mass income, same power income, the same time they go T3 lands. There's stick to air on the way for Turbo, which I quite like. Yudi has only... Okay, no, he has 3 air factions, but no assistance. So Turbo is looking to maybe be somewhat aggressive with some tactical gunships as well. A few tactical gunships are always nice to have.
They can just be annoying. It's not terribly hard for a Cybern gunship to pair for itself.
Also, Nock said both of them picked UEF first, Cybern second, and both of them vetoed UEF.
Alright, that seems pretty reasonable. You know, Titans are real. And generally better than Loyas in this map like this.
I wouldn't necessarily say so. I mean, the thing is, like, Titans are super strong, but Loyas with, like, especially after the recent buff, I guess Loyas are a lot stronger versus non-tech 3 units with the stun that's added. But it's still, like, you shouldn't underestimate them running in, and, like, if they are, like, 10 Loyas versus 10 Titans, if they are, like, right next to each other, then the stun can have a brutal effect.
Wow, Turbo's actually thinking about retreating. He has gun and Yudi does not, but he wants to keep his distance. PD will live, at least for
the issue is that he doesn't have any intel. He doesn't have a Tech 1 radar next to him.
And look at Yudi. Yudi has control of both middle enclaves. He's got radars in both, or in one, and behind the other one. So he's got great intel on every single thing that's happening on this map.
Yeah, he has 7 Tech 1 radars covering literally the entire map.
Turbo has some vision, but it's more defensive, and he's relying on like this air scouts that are around the map to see what's going on. Looks like Turbo might be able to push into the bottom, just kill these PD here, or oh my god, this is a wall of T1 PD. Okay, this might be a bit more difficult.
that must have been a misclick. I hope he realized it in time.
No, this is Fortress Yudi. He will build.
He was like,
T1 PD.
I heard from him say that I need to build a PD there. What?
Yeah, watch this.
So let's see. Both of them have HQ building multiple support factories rushing to Tech 3.
But we see Turbo is up
seems to be
like 3k army value.
Yeah, it's probably why Yudi is ahead on Eco. He has 10 Tech 2 maxes compared to Turbo's 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and he managed to secure mid, and he's actually built a lot of T1 PD on this map. Like, the man has at least 8.
He has 9 Tech 1 PDs and quite a few. There's 4 more planned at the bottom. He's like, every single game, everyone has lost this expansion every single time. And he's like, this time I'm not gonna lose it.
He's making it loyalist proof.
Yes.
So you can do that with T2 PDs, or you can do it with a literal wall of T1 PDs. They won't be able to pass because it's a wall. Okay.
So,
he canceled the wall, and he's just building more.
Yudi is faster on the Loya production. He is.
This is all intentional.
More Loyas, and he has more eco as well. He went Tech 2 Air as well. Although he will probably have less than Turbo for now, but Turbo is going to be behind on land soon.
See, he's already behind on Loyas.
Yeah, because he is behind on eco. Like, land is right now completely even. But eco-wise, Yudi is like by 50% or so ahead, which is not huge, but you know, it starts becoming more of an issue the longer the game goes on.
It's the fundamental problem, right? Like, you had more land, and yet Yudi had more map control. That's not supposed to be how it works.
Yeah, I mean, the more map control was just the middle, but it was partially... I mean, Turbo also made the gun and he didn't use it at all yet. There's now some Tech 2 Air that's slowly cleaning up mid, which is nice. Also have to keep in mind that Yudi doesn't have any flak, I think. He has 1 flak on the entire map, so... His Loyas are pretty vulnerable, but I think the inti count is quite similar. It's 33 to 28, yes, so... Basically the same. Just
a little bit of harassment, though, can turn the tide of these Loya fights. Like, we got one gunship up north harassing these Loyas, giving them a hard time, and they're going to have to fall back a bit, otherwise the other Loya ball will eventually be able to overwhelm them.
Yeah, but it's like the AoE of the gunships is pretty great. But not only that, like he just like kills you these forwards intel based with a few maxes, and it's a small win. But the thing is, with Death to gunships, you can have a lot of small wins in a row. Like it's kind of keeps scaling if there's no proper counter to it. So I think he should. I think Turbo should have invested a bit more into that, because there was room for abuse kinda. Although the longer he waits, the less likely it would be.
I mean, Turbo has less inties right now, which makes investment challenging. But, you know, he could still go for it. Like, get more inties out there, get the gunships, not lose all his inties to a bunch of Loyas.
Oh, don't lose those.
Oh, it's a massacre.
Well, luckily they were a bit on the cliff, so they lived for some time. But Yudi's gonna engage as well, so Yudi's actually gonna completely crush air with this.
The Loya-assisted air fight victory. Just coming in. Absolutely dominating.
Yeah, that's brutal, and that's removing any tech-to-air potential is quite harmful, because he could definitely have used that. Right now it's 30 lawyers for Yudi versus 26 from Turbo, so it's kind of equal now. So it's a lot of the current land battles are now about just picking the right fights and microing, but Yudi is definitely picking a good fight here on the bottom below the air fight. Just now he has way more lawyers there, and
Turbo has to
he
run.
has a factory as well that can get the reclaim from the fight too. Yeah, Turbo has a few lawyers that are a bit out of position at the front. It will be lost.
Bit of an unorganized retreat here, but Turbo does not have a single anti-air unit, which will be a problem the second Yudi decides, oh, I want to just build gunships myself.
Yudi's going for some Corsairs now. I'm not sure I particularly like that. I think I would personally prefer to go into tank to gunships, although Corsairs are like, it feels like if you just leave them alone and you just attack move them somewhere, Corsairs are so much worse than Simon tank to gunships. I might be wrong, but that's just my gut feeling. So now Yudi can take this opportunity to clear out the entire bottom right corner.
He can, although Turbo is cleaning up the top left corner to the extent it matters, although the Corsair is being sent to go deal with this. And Turbo's just retreating on all fronts here. What? I mean, he's caught back up on eco a little bit.
Yeah, he's still like the same amount of eco behind as 5 minutes ago, but considering how total eco has risen, it's less impactful.
Alright, he's gonna get his T3
He's also
P
starting to make bricks, but I'd say he also needs some transports to drop them around, because bricks are slow.
Facts.
Yudi, however, has almost 50 Loyas versus 2 bricks and 29 Loyas from Turbo.
That's scary. I mean, Loyas are looking to break through here up the top right. There is some T1 PD, but they do outnumber the Loyas quite considerably. Plus, yeah, Corsairs.
The formation, though, is awful for Yudi. He can't go in like this. Yeah, he needs to regroup before he can commit. Otherwise, he will have an awful engagement and it will be a mass donation. But, yeah, the Corsairs work. Oh no, they're still alive, yeah. I'm not sure if he's gonna go after some mexes from the looks of it. Yeah, he will go after the mexes that will be raided by the Loyas anyway. Actually, what you could do with Corsairs is if they're undefended. Tyrant Tech 3 support factories don't have a lot of HP. And they can't touch Corsairs.
But the Corsairs are just going to get into the eco in the back and they're just gonna start killing everything. Loyas will kill this base. Corsairs going for capped T2 mexes, getting themselves a nice vet. There's a SAM up and a flak headed to the back, but
yeah, but it's not in the right location. The SAM should have been like at the top expansion to protect this, because that one was the most vulnerable. Then again, Turbo didn't have a lot of flexibility to afford multiple SAMs either.
I mean, he just sort of.
He's gonna lose. I think he's done for. He's completely done for. He's on half Yudi's eco right now.
I mean, what has he got left? I mean, he's gonna get. Nope, there we go. That's GG.
Yeah, okay.
There's nothing left. Yudi takes a pretty nice, decisive game 5. We saw him just get that nice early eco lead. And just
The
snowball
first
that
game
forward.
where the player who picked a map wins a win the map.
Oh my gosh, that's not allowed. Let's just mark it down as a turbo victory anyway. But nicely played to Yudi. Shout out to all the people who say he can't play 10 by 10s.
Yes.